What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode on the Landscaping Podcast, powered by Landscaping Unlimited. I am your host, Zachary Small, and today we're talking about building the ultimate team. So we've been doing a lot of hiring recently. We've been bringing in some experienced individuals. We've been bringing in some new individuals, guys green to the green industry. Little pun there. And one of the things that I've been talking about a lot is that you're trying to build the right team. And so I wonder how many people are wondering what it means to build the right team, as well as all those who are out there trying to do the same thing, wondering, well, how do I do that? I want to build the right team. I want to get the right players in here, people who enjoy what it is we do as much as I do. But how do I find those people? And then what do you look for when you're bringing people in, you're starting to have the interview process? And one of the questions is it always going to be somebody that's in the industry? Is it always going to be somebody that has the exact skill sets that you want? Or are there times to take people in with a gut feeling, with kind of like an intuition to like, you got a good vibe off them? And it's a little bit of all of it. What I've realized upon coming in here as somebody who is not having a background in the green industry, but being hired into it and being a landscaper, hardscaper, getting exposed to all of that work, is that sometimes you got to take a chance on the right person. Shay took a chance on me and it paid off. I mean, obviously we've come here, we've built some great things. We're continuing to build some great things, and we're out here now building even more members. Sometimes that means looking at individuals who are good people and a good fit, and then you can teach them the things you need them to do. And so that's a little bit of a difference there, where if you're looking for somebody that is going to take over, let's say your hardscape program, you need somebody to build patios because you need to go out and start focusing on other things, and you want to turn that part of the job over to somebody. Well, then you're not going to take somebody who doesn't know how to build patios in. So if you're looking for a specific position, well, then you've got to go out and you've got to find somebody who both has those skill sets, but also has the temperament and the personality that fits what you stand for as a company. I'll tell you right now, if we hired somebody that was the best hardscaper in the world, but they were just a jerk and they brought like a negative vibe to the entire culture of our company, they wouldn't fit. They wouldn't last. They might be good at their job, but they're just like terrible to what it is we're trying to do. We don't want people who are miserable being here, but they're good at their job. We want people here who are good at their job and want to be doing this. And so that's kind of our thing. You might be completely different. So you're going to have to take everything I say from here on out and apply it to your situation. But when I'm looking at this, and when I'm talking, I'm on social media, I'm the one putting the ads out, I'm the one doing the hiring and speaking with these individuals, there are certain things I'm looking for, and you've got to be the right fit for that. Now, sometimes you take a chance on somebody, and so guys who are coming in green, younger guys who are looking to cut their teeth and start a career, it's a gamble. I mean, you bring them in, they're motivated, they're ready to go, but they don't really know what they're getting into. And so sometimes, what do they say? You got to crack some eggs to make an omelet. Sometimes you're going to hire individuals, and they're not going to be the right fit. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with hiring somebody and realizing, this doesn't work out. As long as you let them know from the beginning, if this is not working out for you, be it the pay, be it the hours, be it the work environment, you come and let me know. And so people come in, they'll knock on the door, they'll shake hands, look in the eye and say, hey, this isn't for me. I'm much more equipped to be working in an office setting. I like what you do. I appreciate what you do. I thought I could do that, but come to find out, not so much. It's not in the cards for me. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with men or women who are not enjoying the nature of what it is that we do. There's nothing wrong with that at all. They are their own individual to go out and do their thing. There are people who are built for that part. We all got to work together. And so when they say that, when you have a clear channel for someone to tell you that, well, now they're not going to sneak out and just go find another job, and then all of a sudden they just don't show up one day while you're expecting them. So keeping an open channel for that and letting people know, like, if this isn't for you, just come tell me. That's fine. But when you see people come in, it is for them. They are locked in, they're motivated, they're going, but they don't know what they're doing. Well, it might be worth taking the time to invest in that individual. And I would say to a degree, I fell into that category. Somebody who's motivated, willing to work hard, go wherever you want to go and do whatever you want to do. But like, I didn't know how to properly cut bricks. I didn't know how to properly maintain a yard. Like, I've never had to do that. And so it wasn't used against me. They basically saw that I was worth investing in. And so, again, always giving a shout out to Jesse and Frank. Those are the guys who really answered all my questions. And then Big Don, who occasionally, when I could get him out there with me, would answer all the questions and show me how to do it right after his decades of experience. And I mean decades and decades of experience. Just kidding, Don. I love you. But those guys, they took me under their wing. They answered the questions, and they showed me, here's how you properly rake. Here's how you properly dig a hole. Here's how you cut the bricks. Here's how you move the pavers. Here's why we angle it this way. Here's why water is so important. I learned a lot of the job from individuals who've been doing it for so long that it was second nature to them, that sometimes when I asked the question, it forced them to be able to learn how to, they just knew it from the job, but they got better at their job because they learned how to explain it to somebody else. And so they say you're a master if you can explain something to a child. Well, basically, I'm a grown man, but I went in there with the equivalent of a child's knowledge of certain things because I didn't know about it. It's just not my background. And so when you're looking for the right team member, there might be people, the right team member might not know everything about your job, but they've got the qualities and the intangible aspects of themselves that you couldn't have added. You see, they could teach me to cut a brick. They could teach me how to properly mow. They could teach me how to properly edge. They couldn't teach me how to be on time. That's something I chose to do or not to do. They couldn't teach me to want to learn this or to be comfortable in the uncomfortable nature of the job. You want to walk around where it's hot, where it's cold, it's wet, it's super dry. Bro, I'm having a good time either way. Like I just enjoy that. I like the challenge. It's just something that's in me. They can't teach me that. So when they took a chance, it wasn't just on like, does this guy know everything? It's like, is he worth investing in where we can teach him those other things, the tangible things about the job? We can't teach the intangible. So if he has that, let's keep that and then grow from there. And so when you're putting your ads out and you're looking to reach out to grow your right team, don't be so cut and dry. You don't have 4 years experience mowing. You don't have all the experience trimming and all this. Yeah, maybe they don't. They might be the best candidate for you. They might be your hardest worker who can learn those things. They just haven't done it before. And right now, with our economy the way it is, it's funny that they're like entry-level position with 5 years experience. It's like, man, how can you enter through an entry-level position if you're already requiring 5 years of experience? So just know what it is that you're looking for, what it is that your team needs, and then when it comes down to the individuals, understand like who it is you're talking to and pay enough attention that you can see like this person might have that little X factor. They might have something that you didn't advertise for. They came in and they just made everybody else around them great. They came in and they just were having a good time and happy to be there. And you could teach them all the other things. Maybe they're like your worst mower at the beginning, but they were having a good time and everybody was good. So the whole morale of your company's up. People are excited to go to work. And you know what? Maybe you had to fix a few spots in the lawn, but you can teach them to improve upon that. So now look a month down the road. Don't be so short-sighted that you had 2 weeks of bad lawns. Look a month down the road. Look 3 months down the road. 1 quarter with an individual like that, that's a quarter of the year of business where your team was happier, which makes them more productive, which makes them want to be at work, so you're not going to have as much of a loss. Your retention should be going up. And after that quarter, you don't have to fix those spots in the yard anymore. So you kept the dude who made everybody happy, but he's also a good mower now. And now he's teaching the next guy how to do that job. You would not have achieved that 3-month target and that success had you shut it down after the first 1 or 2 weeks where the dude couldn't figure out how to operate the equipment. And so these are all aspects of what it comes down to when you're building the right team. These are the things that I'm looking for. I take a chance on certain individuals just based off like how I feel about it. And sometimes I look at individuals where it's a clear cut. This dude has experience and somebody else's losses are gain. They couldn't see the value that person had, where I look at him and it's quite obvious. And I also, when you're looking at this, there's an element of looking at someone's past. Sometimes if you look at somebody's past, you're like, well, that person is just a disaster. Everywhere they go, there's chaos. And then if you write them off, you might miss another opportunity where maybe the environments they were in was chaos. If we're talking about building a good place and a good environment for your team members to do well, yet you're not creating a cohesive environment that fosters that kind of camaraderie, is it their fault or is it yours that there's a lot of chaos and there's not much order? It comes down to the top dog. And so sometimes when you look at individuals, maybe they were just the wrong shape or they were the right shape in the wrong place. Maybe they were a triangle and they just weren't fitting. And so you might look at them as the outcast, but you weren't judging them on what they actually should have been judged on. And so when you take somebody and you learn what their language is, what they're needing, what they're bringing to the table, what their shape is, that might be the perfect shape for what you need in your company. But you don't get that if you don't give them a chance because you've already written them off based upon what somebody else said or whatever. There are definitely opinions that should hold more weight than others. Individuals you know and trust, you kind of have like-minded morals and values. If they're like, hey, stay away, definitely take that advice. Stay away. They're warning you. But if it's somebody who's like jaded or they're a little brash and they're just like, this guy's garbage, well, let me make a decision on that. Let me check it out and see how I feel about it. Sometimes they're right. Sometimes they're wrong. I've seen it go both ways. And so when you're building your team, it's important that you understand you've got to trust your judgment. You've got to make sure that you have a environment for them to thrive in. And when you bring them in, you take a chance on those who, as the person that you can build upon, and not just somebody who's a dedicated worker to fit a certain mold and do the job without having any supervision required, depending on the situation you're looking at. Again, I can dismantle my entire argument here, because if you're looking for a certain spot, let's say you're looking for somebody to run your chemical program, and that's what you want them to do, and you know this person is not good at math, and they're not independent, they can't work on their own, well then, look, they're not the right fit. No matter how nice they are, no matter how good they are, no matter how much joy they bring to the company, if you need them for that job and they can't do that job, well, you don't just bring them in just to bring them in. Now, payroll expenses are high for everybody. They say that's one of the biggest expenses for every company that's out there. And so don't artificially bloat yours just for the sake of having people. Yeah, they might be a good person, but they've got to bring something to the company tangibly that's going to start either making you more money or making you more efficient or being able to help set you free so you can go work on what other component of the job that you're working on. But if you're hiring them to do a specific thing like chemical program and they can't do it, you're really got to ask yourself, why are they there? And that's an audit you should run. I mean, I would say weekly. You should look at like how the company's performing. Most definitely annually. I would push to quarterly to semi-annually. Every now and then you got to sit down with your top guys and be like, all right, what's working and what's not working? And that doesn't have to be, like I said, a daily thing, not even a weekly thing. Maybe at the end of the week, you evaluate what worked and what didn't work. But I would say every few months, sitting down with your people and saying, like, all right, where are we at? What's going on? And Gary Vaynerchuk, who is a big social media / just all things online. I mean, he's the dude starting businesses. He's giving free advice. He's giving speeches. He does mentorship and consultations. So if you look up Gary V, that's what I'm talking about. He said that you should find the employee that makes all other employees miserable. You should run an audit. And no matter how good they are, no matter how much they're bringing to the table, no matter how much they are, on paper, golden, like they're the golden boy with the treasure. They've got all the things you need, all the certifications, the licenses, like they're checking all the boxes on a piece of paper. No matter how great they are there, if you run an audit and you're like, that person makes everybody in this company miserable. That is our darkest corner. That's the cancer that's spreading. That's the source of all negativity. You should let them go. If there is a single mark that is bringing everything down, it's time to have the conversation as to, is it worth pushing forward and dragging that along because of everything else they check, or is it worth letting that go, moving forward with a much more motivated and positive and tightly connected team, and then filling that position with somebody else? That's a real question you should ask. And when he dropped that, I started thinking like, that's something that every company should do. You should look around and say, like, where's the source of our pain? Where's the source of our negativity? Where's the source of those who are bringing people down around them? On the inverse, who's bringing people up? You might have a brand new guy who's making all the seasoned guys way more motivated, speeding them up, having a good time. People are laughing again. Like our job is hard enough, doing the job like itself, literally, that dealing with your coworkers, dealing with the people on your team, that shouldn't be hard. That should be something that you do and something you enjoy. Being at work should be a good time. Like if you don't like your job, I don't understand why you're doing it. Like I enjoy this. Like I'm sweating right now talking on this podcast. Like you're starting to see the sweat form on my body. I like this. This is cool. Like I enjoy what it is I do. I enjoy the things we build. I just got to see a tree knocked down for one of my guys. My son's out there working. Like the guys I'm talking to, I enjoy their company. They're funny dudes. Like this is a good time. And so for me, like it wouldn't make any sense to be like, oh, well, it's hot outside, so I don't want to do this. Like what? That doesn't make like it confuses me if I had to like put a word on it. When people like nitpick at the things, that one thing they may not like, yeah, it's hot, but so what? You just kind of deal with it with everything else. But when it comes to like having a team and connection with people, it's like, if you've got somebody that is making everybody great, you should recognize that. If you've got somebody that's bringing everybody down, you need to address that. Sometimes they might not know. If you don't do any performance reviews, if you don't do any sit downs to do leadership, if you don't sit and have conversations with those who are running the show when you're not like there, like they run it in your place, and you're not sitting and sharing with them like, hey, this is what I'm seeing working, this is what's not working, here's a review of where I think you're at, or here's what I need you to fix if you want to remain here. Like something has to change, and it's going to be you, because everything else I like, you are the one that's bringing this down. That conversation has to happen. Like they may not know genuinely. And so it's on you to make that a part of bringing it to their awareness. And when you do that, you might find them realizing, I didn't even realize I was coming across as an asshole. Like, I didn't even know I was making people's lives worse. I was just like locked and loaded on work and just focused on work and nothing else mattered. And while there's a place for that, and as there always will be a place for that in the professional world, it's usually preventable. You can usually achieve the same output while not rubbing feathers, all the wrong way with everybody along the way. You don't have to step on throats to get somewhere, especially in an environment in the green industry where most of us are working together and we have clear-cut roles. So the competition there, like, everybody should be in competition. I think competition is great for the soul, and we should all be working to be our best. Like, I want to be the best at everything we do here. And I get rocked sometimes, and sometimes I absolutely crush. But I'm always looking to be better and to do my best. But I don't do it at the expense of my teammates. I don't do it at the expense of our guys. Like a rising tide, I try to be better than everybody while raising everybody around me. Instead of trying to, like an anchor, pull them down, and then like anchor them down, and then I go swim away and then float to the top. Like, that's not how that works. I try to raise the standard of those around me and beat them. Not push down on their shoulders so my head pops up. It's not about Zach, it's about the company, it's about the team. It's about all of us. And if you can find people who can do that, who can compete and find success without stepping on throats, without running anybody else over, while understanding our success is more important than your success when it comes to an environment in the green industry where we're all working together. It's not like sales. It's not like a lot of corporate jobs. Like, us all winning together, there's room for everybody to grow within. So when the company grows, everybody wins. And then the leaders of that growth, they get recognized monetarily with titles. There's different perks that can be given away to those who are absolutely crushing it. Oftentimes, it's just a recognition, like publicly letting people know, like, hey, this dude did great. And then, hey, for your efforts, we're going to give you more responsibility. And with that responsibility comes more pay. We would love to incentivize your success and growth. Because you're making us more money, we can bring it back to you. We now have more roles. We have more work to do, which means we have more teams to create, which means we need more team leaders. Hey, worker, you're now a team leader because you helped us create this new avenue that we could go work down. And so all that's what comes into making a great team. And so when I'm running these ads, when I'm putting this out there, that's what I'm talking about. I am looking for people who are like the right people, and then I can get you to becoming the right worker. Now, fortunately for us, and unfortunately, I guess, we are looking for both. We are looking for specific spots to be filled, but we're also looking for just general population, to come in and fill certain roles that we can teach and kind of mold that are general to the success within the green industry. And so that means we would like certain people with certain skill sets, licenses, certain certifications. We'd also like people who can just work hard, and we can teach you how to do the work we need you to do because we've got a lot of it to do. If you look into our office, our whiteboards are getting are full and filling up even more. And then we've got plenty of grass to grow. It is in the middle of the summer. Like, we have plenty going on, and having the right people in place allows us to do that more effectively, more efficiently for our clients. That means the service we provide improves, and the time that the guys are doing all that hard work, they're enjoying it. They're having a good time in the process. And to me, at the end of the day, that's what a successful landscaping and hardscaping business looks like. You're doing hard work and you're enjoying doing it. The guys are doing what you want them to do because they want to do it. And so everybody's winning. And so when you do that and you provide that honest work, you can't help but look back and be like, that's a damn good team. Like, you hired the right people. You guys are doing the job well. Life is good. Everybody's having a good time. There's no negativity. We're crushing it. We're making money. We're growing. We're succeeding. And then all the rivers that come out of that, like, just continue to expand. We're going to go into fall with quite a bit of work to do. Great. We've got a solid team we built in the heat and in the summer to go out and do that work. And then when it cools down and guys are feeling good, man, they earned that. I can't wait to see my guys showing up in their hoodie because, like I said, it's hot, but they're pushing through. They're showing they're tough, and then we'll cool down. And then, like I said, we're a year-round company. We aren't slowing down. We'll just be doing different types of jobs once, all the green turns a little bit brown and starts slowing down with this growth. So that's what we're looking for with our team. That's how we're building, and I hope that helped you when it comes to building your team. If you have any questions on that, or if you have any topics you want to bring up or issues you faced and you're wondering how to navigate that, drop the comments below, give us a shout out, let us know that you're looking to have that answered, and we'll address it on a podcast. Thanks for tuning in to another episode on Landscaping Podcast.